It was an ordinary Tuesday afternoon when everything in Jason's life changed forever. Jason, a dedicated manager at a mid-sized tech firm, had taken a rare moment for himself. Work had been hectic, deadlines were looming, and he felt like he hadn't truly breathed in weeks. So on a whim, he decided to take a longer lunch break than usual. Little did he know, the simple decision would unravel his entire world. Jason had always been a creature of habit. Every day, he ate lunch at the same deli near his office. But that day, he felt like breaking the routine. He drove across town to a quaint little cafe that he and his wife Amanda used to frequent during their dating days. It had been years since they last visited, but nostalgia pulled him there. As he walked in, the familiar scent of freshly brewed coffee and baked goods greeted him, bringing a slight smile to his weary face. He found a quiet corner by the window, ordered a sandwich, and pulled out his phone to catch up on some emails. The gentle hum of conversations around him was a comforting backdrop. He glanced out the window, watching the world go by, feeling a rare sense of calm. That's when he saw her. At first, he thought his eyes were playing tricks on him. Amanda was supposed to be at work, miles away from here. Yet there she was, walking hand in hand with another man, laughing in a way Jason hadn't seen in years. They stopped just outside the cafe, their faces close, sharing an intimacy that sent a cold chill down his spine. Jason's heart pounded in his chest. He felt rooted to his seat, unable to move or even think clearly. He watched as Amanda and the man entered a small boutique across the street. For a moment, Jason considered letting it go. Maybe it was all a misunderstanding, but the nagging suspicion in the back of his mind wouldn't let him rest. Driven by a mix of curiosity and dread, Jason decided to follow them. He paid for his meal and stepped out into the crisp afternoon air, his mind racing with questions. Who was this man? What was Amanda doing with him? And why here of all places? Keeping a safe distance, Jason trailed them through the boutique. He watched as Amanda picked out a few items, modeling them for the man who nodded approvingly. They looked like a couple deeply in love, oblivious to the world around them. Jason's chest tightened with every passing second. After what felt like an eternity, they left the boutique and headed toward a nearby hotel. Jason's stomach churned as he watched them enter, without a second glance back. He stood there, frozen on the sidewalk, the reality of the situation sinking in. His wife was having an affair, and had just stumbled upon it during what was supposed to be a simple lunch break. Jason's mind went into overdrive. 1,000 thoughts swirled around: anger, betrayal, sadness, and confusion. But amidst the chaos, one thing became clear. He needed to confront Amanda. But not here. Not now. He needed a plan. That evening, Jason returned home, his heart heavy with the weight of his discovery. Amanda was already there, greeting him with a warm smile and a kiss on the cheek. It felt surreal, like stepping into a parallel universe where everything appeared normal, but the truth lurked just beneath the surface. "How was your day?" she asked, her voice light and cheerful. Jason forced a smile, his mind screaming with questions he couldn't yet voice. "It was fine," he replied, trying to keep his tone even. "Busy as usual." They sat down for dinner, engaging in the usual small talk. Amanda seemed completely at ease, as if nothing was amiss. Jason marveled at her composure, wondering how she'd carry on so normally after what he had seen. As the days passed, Jason found himself oscillating between confronting her and gathering more evidence. He decided to wait, to watch and see if there were more signs. His patience paid off. Over the next few weeks, he noticed subtle changes in Amanda's behavior. Late nights at the office, sudden weekend trips, and an increased secrecy around her phone. Jason began piecing together the puzzle, his suspicions growing with each passing day. He hired a private investigator to follow Amanda, hoping to get concrete proof of her affair. The waiting was excruciating, but Jason knew he needed undeniable evidence before confronting her. When the investigator finally delivered the report, Jason's worst fears were confirmed. Photos, timestamps, and detailed notes outlined Amanda's clandestine meetings with a man whose name was revealed to be David. They had been seeing each other for months, sharing stolen moments and secret getaways. Jason spent the night poring over the evidence, his emotions a whirlwind of anger, hurt, and betrayal. The life he thought he knew had been a lie, and the woman he loved had been unfaithful. But amidst the pain, a sense of clarity emerged. He knew what he had to do. The next morning, Jason confronted Amanda. He sat her down at the kitchen table, the weight of the past weeks evident in his weary expression. "Amanda, we need to talk," he began, his voice steady but filled with emotion. She looked at him, a flicker of concern crossing her face. "What's wrong?" Jason took a deep breath, sliding the investigator's report across the table. "This," he said simply. Amanda's eyes widened as she opened the folder, her hands trembling as she took in the contents. Her face paled, and tears filled her eyes. "Jason, I can explain," she stammered. Jason held up a hand, stopping her. "Don't," he said. "I've seen enough. I just want to know why." Amanda's shoulders slumped, and she looked down at her hands. "I don't know," she whispered. "I never meant to hurt you. It just happened." Jason's heart ached at her words, but he remained resolute. "I trusted you, Amanda. We built a life together. How could you throw it all away?" Tears streamed down her face as she tried to find the words to explain, but none came. The silence was deafening. The days that followed were a blur of emotions. Jason moved out, unable to stay in a house that now felt like a prison of broken dreams. He filed for divorce, knowing that the trust between them could never be restored. Amanda reached out multiple times, begging for forgiveness, but Jason knew it was over. The love they once shared had been tainted by betrayal, and there was no going back. Jason began to rebuild his life, focusing on his career and finding solace in the support of friends and family. He threw himself into new hobbies and adventures, rediscovering the person he had been before the weight of his marriage had consumed him. One day, while walking to the park, Jason saw a family playing together. The laughter of the children and the warmth of their parents' smiles stirred something within him. For the first time in months, he felt a glimmer of hope. Hope that despite the pain and heartache, life could go on. Hope that one day he could find happiness again. And with that hope, Jason took his first step toward a new beginning, leaving the past behind and embracing the possibilities of the future. Jason's journey was one of heartache and betrayal, but it was also a story of resilience and self-discovery. He had faced the darkest moments of his life and emerged stronger, ready to embrace the unknown and find his path to happiness once more.